Would anyone like to just say for the audience anything you've noticed in your life, any changes? Now, we know that Transcendental Meditation is natural, right? Anybody can learn it. Some people come in as skeptics saying, well, someone said I should do it because of my stress, but I never really thought that it would work for me. And yet we find that anybody can learn it. We teach 10-year-old kids with ADHD the same way. They learn as effortlessly as anybody else who thinks that they are the meditative type and they've done meditation their whole lives. They could learn TM just as effortlessly. And the effect is maybe wide-ranging. Everyone may notice a little bit of a different effect. If anyone would like to come up, and I know some have shared already, if you'd like to say again, if it's affected your stress or anxiety. Jim, yeah, come. And if you want to just speak but not be on camera, you can just stand up. And if you don't mind also being on camera for our TV crew coming up.
Well, I took the course with Josh almost 1 year ago. And to be honest, I kind of fell off really quickly. And I didn't really I didn't commit myself consistently enough. And the reason was I didn't make the time to create a consistent practice. And a friend of mine gave me a tip, which was very simple to implement. And he just said, Jim, don't get out of bed until after you've meditated. So just meditate for 20 minutes and then get out of bed. And that one little tip was enough to just finally, for a few weeks, not miss a day. And I think it was after a couple weeks I finally felt like I had transcended. And I used to think that hot Bikram yoga was the best you could feel standing up. And now I feel like this is the best you could feel lying down. Like, I mean, it really made a difference. I feel much clearer. I have an easier time falling asleep, less anxious, all of the benefits that you've talked about. But the main thing I wanted to share is we're all in here strapped for time in one way or another, and it's really easy to not make the time for that first or second 20-minute session. And that one little tip, don't get out of bed till after you've done it, really helped me. So that was what I wanted to share. Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Good morning. Listen, I'm Dominican. I'm naturally very loud.
Okay.
So I probably won't need that. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, if I say. For many years, for most of my life, I spent it running to find ways to deal with these things that I didn't know what it was. So I found refuge on this thing called heroin. And for many years, I became an addict that whenever I felt something or I felt that thing, run into a bag of dope. That's what I did. That's what I knew how to do. That's what made me feel not to feel. That's where I found a little home. But with that also came a lot of other consequences that are not very pretty. I ended up in hospitals, institutions, jails, and almost close to death quite a few times. So one day somebody told me, not long ago, somebody told me in this building that I have these things called PTSD. And I asked, what the hell is that? What is PTSD? And they told me, well, did something happen to you? Something big in your life. And I told him a little bit about my life. He said, oh my God, I think you're sick. So I looked at him and said, I think you're sick. He said, no, I really think you're sick. I really think you have this thing called PTSD. And he explained to me exactly what that meant. And it was weird and strange because really, I never heard of a name that was given to something that I carry around all my life, and that all I took was one simple little bag of dope, and I was okay. And he told me that there were ways to deal with this, that there were ways that I didn't have to use poison in my body to deal with it. So I began treatment for PTSD. I went to Montrose. I'm still involved, very involved with PTSD clinic in this building. And somebody once told me, not long ago, about 30 days ago, so I'm pretty much of a baby in MT, in TM. So I'm a baby, I just started doing this. Somebody told me that that was also another way to help me with my PTSD. And I want to tell you that they were right. They were right. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes of my time every single night for me to take all this madness that's going on within me and quiet it down. Not put them away, not just quiet them down enough time, long enough for me to relax and to be able to actually get a good night's sleep, which I haven't done in years. It's been about 25, 30 years where I got 8 hours sleep, 6 hours sleep. It's a miracle. Now it happens very often. Almost every other night, I'm able to catch 6 hours, 7 hours straight. And I have empty or TM to thank for that, because without being able to sit down and without being able to quiet myself down and to let myself know that everything that goes on in my mind, it's okay, it's all okay. It's part of who I am, it's what I am. It's what makes me human. You know? And I understand that clearly today. I'm able to find myself in a very comfortable place when I'm laying down. And I don't have to live the madness anymore. I don't need that bag of dope anymore. I don't need that bag of whatever it is I was doing out there. All I need is 10, 20 minutes, half hour at the most. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And okay.
A couple of guys I know very well.
So this idea of transcending, you know, it's within the meditation that we transcend, right? Where the mind and the body settle down to a very deep level of rest. And this is really where the benefits start coming from. It's not the kind of meditation or intervention where you're really focusing on the problem, right? The development of benefits is very spontaneous. We don't go into the meditation thinking, you know, I'm not going to, you know, do this, or I'm going to be better at that. You go into it innocently. And the development of benefits comes spontaneously. It comes from that deep rest, because we all know that we have a great healing intelligence, right? When we're well rested, when we're not under undue pressure, right? Then the body has a great ability to heal itself. It's when we're tired, it's when we're stressed, that's when we start getting sick, that's when we start feeling stressed and acting in a stressed way. So this is a natural way of reducing that stress level that we're carrying. And it's physical. Stress is not just mental, is it? Right? Where do we store our stress? Neck, shoulders, backache, cortisol in the blood, right? In the brain, stress affects how the brain works. And if we're under regular stress, chronic stress, that stress response habituates, right? The prefrontal cortex gets locked in that fight or flight mode, right? Transcendental meditation, transcending this experience of inner calmness, inner peace, restful alertness, is nearly the opposite of the fight or flight response, and it reverses these stress patterns. So there's increased blood flow to the brain. Some who have learned to meditate recently were talking about feeling tingling in their fingers or in their feet as there's this increased blood flow to the extremities. So the body starts to normalize. It can really start to heal. And these effects that Adam spoke about, they come very naturally and spontaneously. You may come to learn meditation because of stress or because of one thing or another, but you'll find that the benefits are holistic. So, did somebody else want to come and chat?
I don't need that.
Do you, just if you don't mind, just hold it for the camera. It won't amplify your voice. It's just for the camera.
My name is Owen. I've been studying Transcendental Meditation since 2015. I learned here. I fell off of my afternoon practice. I'm trying to get back to it, but the first thing I do when I get out of bed in the morning is go to the bathroom and I meditate. And I do it religiously. That's just what I do. It has helped me with calmness. It's like a gateway for me because I do so much other. I listen to audio books. I'm always practicing. I'm always inside my own head, wondering what's going on with me, how I feel, why do I feel this way, why did I get triggered by a person that looked at me a funny way and things like that. And as long as I'm inside myself, I'm not out there acting or fighting or thinking about fighting, even though I still have violent thoughts. But they're just thoughts. And I have them, and I watch them, and I observe them, and they go away, just like everything. Everything always passes by, and I just wanted to share that with everybody.
Oh, do you want?
Be short.
Short, long, whatever you feel like.
How you doing, everybody? You want to hold that?
Yeah, might as well.
all here because we got some kind of stress, PTSD, something like that. When I first started that meditation, I did it as a joke, but I was open. I mean, I want to get off all the drugs and everything. I don't want to meditate to get myself back to normal. I did the meditation, I did it as a joke. I did yoga as a joke, but I guess I was in the right place because some of it stuck for me. I do meditation all the time. I don't have set times, but I do it all the time. I got plenty of time right now, I guess. It does calm me down. It does clear my mind. I'm very grateful for the Men's Foundation whoever offered it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. Transcendental Meditation is one of the best things I've ever done in my life, period. When I say I've done a total 180, I've done a total 180. I went almost from a monster to a man. I went from a beast to more human. The tranquility and peace that I can now feel because of my transcendental meditation, it just almost seemed like I'm in a different world. Just like the gentleman said, instead of reacting, you think, you take a deep breath, you pause, and then you're more happy with the results because you're able to think it out and not just react, where, especially being military trained, we may just react and then look at the results later like, wow, did I do that? This gives you a peace of mind, a place to breathe. It makes you able to think more clearly and accomplish a lot more in your life. And I don't know where I would be if I didn't do this, because the benefits have greatly. I even remember when they first told me about it, like, it'll help raise your IQ, it'll help, and I was like, all right, but I had time on my hands and I did it, and I will recommend it to anyone at any time. It is something that you will take with you and keep with you for the rest of your life. It's almost a key to any lock, because you're more mentally prepared to think and maneuver things instead of just react. And I thank everyone at the David Lynch Foundation for teaching me, helping me, and I will always do whatever it takes to put the word out that this is awesome for vets, definitely.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, for the camera, here we go. I just wanted to thank everybody that was associated with the Transcendental Meditation, because like my good bro Jack, I started this thinking that I'm skeptical about a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? So I really didn't think that I would see any results or that it was real. I just thought that it was just like a whole lot of hoopla. But I actually gave it a chance, and I was actually sincere with it. And it definitely, it works, you know what I'm saying? But you also got to give a lot of effort into it. It's not just going to drop in your lap, just like with anything in life. I definitely, I don't know if it's because of like the youth in me or whatever, but shout out to everybody, old, young, whatever. I definitely recommend this for all walks of life, because whether street life is traumatizing, whether the military life is traumatizing, and getting a little taste of, well, a lot of taste of the streets and a little taste of the military, it's crazy, it's hectic, it's chaotic. And in my personal life, impulsivity has been a major issue with me, and I've noticed with TM, I've definitely taken that extra second or a couple seconds to think about my next move or my next word, and it's definitely helpful with a lot of things in life, because patience takes patience. Patience is a virtue, and TM has definitely brought a lot of these worldly questions, a lot of stuff that didn't make sense. Harry, shout outs to Harry for bringing a lot.
He's at the Brooklyn VA now with vets, so he couldn't be here, but I'll
big
give
shout out to Harry. He brought a lot of clarity into all those questions and everything, and thank you to everybody that's incorporated with the TM's association. Thank you guys a lot, because it definitely works, and it's definitely, and I'm going to continue this. And I also recommend this for the youth, because the youth, like, they get, I'm saying I get caught up in that too. Like, I don't need stuff like this. This stuff is crazy. But I'm definitely going to reach out to family members as far as, like, spreading the word about TM, and also people in my age group and younger and all of that. So,
Thanks.
definitely.
I'm glad.
Thank you, guys.
Let me. Okay, come on.
Yeah, let's give a shout out to the youth. Okay. Anyway, TM is something that definitely has helped me out. I definitely have an issue with impulsivity. A lot of people know me here, see that or know that I can definitely get impulsive and react quickly. But I've done TM over the period of the past even couple of weeks, and I've seen a change in me. So it definitely helps, and I would recommend it anywhere. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thanks. Can I ask? We hear a lot of people have different benefits, but one I hear over and over is that impulsivity, where people don't react. Like, I used to react and I don't. Can I just out of hands? Who's seen that where they react less to than they used to? Okay, all around. And one of the things, sleep. I hear that a lot. Who's seen their sleep improve since learning TM? So we got a bunch of those. Oh wow, hands. Okay. I'm just curious, because those are two big ones. Anyone? Oh, you want to? Sure.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Frank Rizzo. I took TM at the VA here over 2 years ago, and there was maybe 8 people in the class. I walked in today, I was shocked. There must be something to this, because it's affecting everybody. And, I was a teenager in the 60s, and I thought that was a stressful time until 9/11, and then everything changed around. But I'll tell you this, my point is this: 90% of life is attitude. And TM changed your attitude for the positive. So way to go with it. Thank you for coming today. Like I said, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed that TM lets the workers from the VA in, more people. I think it's a good thing. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Frank. Oh, come on.
Okay, I've had multiple traumas in my life. I have a lot of false beliefs. Some of them I believe may be true. Altruism doesn't exist. Everybody's selfless or selfish. They're out to get whatever they can and step on everybody, and it really sucks. It's a crazy world, but I have this belief that I constantly got to look over my shoulder all the time, like somebody's out to get me. I can't escape trauma. It's difficult. It is, but with this technique, I've learned that it's easy to kind of relax, take a step back, clear my mind. This definitely gives me the clarity of thought. I'm not saying it's a cure-all, but it does help. It does help completely, phenomenally. I feel better after I'm done with it. I am able to sleep easier. And maybe the hypervigilance is a little less, but it's still there. I constantly have this feeling like bad things are going to happen. I don't think that's ever going to go away, but it does lessen. That's it.
Thank you all thanks for all who shared. So just a show of hands, how many have not yet learned Transcendental Meditation? Okay. Have not yet learned it? Okay, good. Of those people, have you done some form of meditation before? Yes? No? Okay. So, this is maybe the next step. If you've done Transcendental Meditation, if you've done some other form of meditation, if you've never done meditation, don't worry. This is so effortless that anybody can learn it. We love to provide the program for veterans, but also for staff. And for those staff members that are here, hopefully you've seen some of the benefits from it, and if you're interested in referring some of your veterans to the course. But we'd also like to extend the course to you as well, so you know what it is, so you have the opportunity to experience it yourself and benefit in your own life. But also, if you have the sense of what it is from having done the Transcendental Meditation, then you can also talk about it with your veterans. So I just want to spend a few minutes to talk about how it works, what you'll actually be learning, and if you've already learned it, you could fact check me, all right? So as we've been talking about, and as everyone has mentioned, that it's a very simple thing to do, right? Finding the time to do it may be the hardest thing, making the time 20 minutes twice a day. But actually sitting to meditate is effortless. You sit comfortably in a chair with your eyes closed, or you sit up in bed before anyone else knows you're awake, and you meditate. It's an internal mental process. So there's no controlling your body. There's no specific way to breathe. You don't have to sit in a meditative posture. You sit comfortably, legs stretched out in front of you, leaning back on the pillows, whatever position is comfortable for you. During meditation, if you need to move or adjust, if you have an itch, you can scratch it. So you don't have to sit, rigidly. Some forms of meditation, they tell you to sit very still. But this is natural, effortless, that allows the mind and body to really settle down to a deep level of rest. Now, we know the mind has different levels of activity, right? Just like the ocean has different levels of activity. The surface of the ocean, what's that like? Rough, wavy, choppy, right? Has anyone been diving? What's it like underneath the surface? More calm, cool, quiet. So we have different levels of mental activity as well. The surface of the mind, very active, sometimes hyperactive, right? Sometimes calm, but always active from the moment you wake up to when you go to sleep. What happens when you transcend? You go beyond that surface activity to experience how the mind thinks at subtler levels. The mind settles down, but unlike sleep, it stays awake. So the mind is rested, calm, but alert at the same time. Okay? So this is somewhat of a unique experience, right? We don't usually have that. Okay. And the way that it works is you learn a specific thought or sound, which we call a mantra, right? Everyone's heard this word before, mantra. A mantra is something that's repeated, right? I don't have a New Year's resolution. I had my mantra. I'm going to exercise more or something like that. The mantra that's used in Transcendental Meditation is chosen specifically for each person. So not everybody gets the same one. It's customized, individualized for you. And what you learn is the sound. It's like a word, but it's not a word in any language. It's a meaningless sound. And then the procedure, how to use it, how to think it effortlessly. And when you sit down, start meditating, you close your eyes and you start thinking the mantra. And the mantra is kind of a vehicle that allows the mind to take that inward direction spontaneously. Spontaneously because you're not focusing, you're not concentrating on it. There are some forms of meditation where you're supposed to clear the mind of thoughts, and you can focus on a mantra, or you can focus on a breath, or stare at a candle flame, and keep the mind from getting distracted. But with focus comes effort, right? If we're focusing on the breath or trying to clear the mind of thought, the mind is going to stay somewhat more active. If the mantra had meaning, you'd be thinking about it. The mind would stay somewhat more active. So it's a meaningless sound. We think it effortlessly. And the mind of its own nature begins to take that inward direction. Why does it take that direction? What is that experience? Inner peace, inner calmness that many have talked about, inner silence. The mind gravitates towards that because that's its nature, right? How many people here feel like well, I shouldn't ask that question because you all are meditating. Most of you are. How many people here feel like they have a hard time concentrating? Focusing, right? We all do, right? The mind seems to jump around from one thing to another, right? But if you're reading a great book, having a great conversation, watching a movie, hours could go by and you don't notice the passage of time, right? If what the mind is attentive to, is interesting, it's drawn to it, right? If we're here having a conversation and some music comes on in the next room, all of a sudden your mind jumps to that. Am I missing a party, right? Is there something going on out there? Somebody talking? Are they talking about me? The attention shifts to that because it's interesting, right? The mind is always seeking experiences of more fulfillment, more happiness, more peace. And this is what really drives the meditation. The mantra is just a vehicle, but the nature of your mind is so embedded. It's such a natural quality of the mind that it's just going to shift to that settled state automatically. Okay? So this is an ancient technique. It comes from ancient India, but it's ultra modern as well. Adam talked about some of the modern research on it. It's been taught all around the world since the mid-50s. People from all walks of life have learned this meditation, any age, right? Any background, religion, culture. It does not interfere. If you're looking for faith, this does not provide it. It's a technique. It's a natural technique that allows the mind and body to get deep rest. It won't interfere with your religious practice or faith, right? Just a simple procedure you can add in to enjoy life more.
We are here right now at the Veteran Center or the Veteran Administration on 23rd Street. My name is Melvin. I'm a Vietnam-era veteran, and I'm here with another gentleman, and you can tell who you are.
I'm Adam Friedman. I'm the Senior Director of Programs at the David Lynch Foundation. We teach meditation here at the Manhattan VA to veterans to help heal trauma, and we're at a bunch of other VA hospitals, Brooklyn, Bronx, Hudson and Westchester, the LA VA. We have our first meditation course next week.
So the reason why I'm here is because I created a platform for veterans. I'm a producer for Brick House in Brooklyn, New York. That's on Fulton Street, and I'm a certified podcast, radio, TV announcer as well. And I have my own show that comes on every Monday and Wednesday. So because I'm a veteran, I'm a Vietnam-era veteran, I have people come on my show. So we discuss a lot of stuff, particularly for veterans. A lot of veterans that we see, especially from the Vietnam era, going through a lot of traumatic, let's say post-traumatic stress syndrome they have. A lot of them is that we see is homeless. A lot of them is became alcoholics, drug addicts, and they are been arrested in prison. And there's a lot of terrible situation that veterans have. So we was asking the question, why? So being I'm a Vietnam era veteran, they told us. They said, well, you from Vietnam, I mean, you're a Vietnam era veteran, so I want to describe what happened to us. And what they told us was very shocking. One of them said that he went to Vietnam and he did his tour, whatever he was told to do, but he got wounded. So when he came home, it was very terrible. The atmosphere, the people was against the war. They was throwing garbage at him. They was spitting on him. They was talking about baby killers. And when he was seeking help for the veterans, they didn't even give him a debriefing. So he became lost. He became hurt. He felt that the government had abandoned him, like they did a lot of other veterans. So he said that's why you see a lot of veterans that's still mentally on the streets, homeless. They never came out of that situation. And they, even some of them, they said their wife and their family left them just because of that. So because they didn't understand them anymore. So that was one of the reasons, that was one of the major reasons why I did this, created this veteran talk show and a podcast. So we reached out for the Veteran Administration here in Manhattan that said they're willing to, give us a platform here for the information for the veteran. So that's why I'm here now. And I'm so eager to hear about the program that you have. And so I guess you can tell us all about your program.
Okay. Well, what we do at the David Lynch Foundation, we teach transcendental meditations to groups that are disproportionately affected by trauma. So that includes veterans, domestic violence survivors, and we teach in low-income schools in South Chicago, Bronx, Brooklyn, LA. I'd say our veterans program, which is one of our biggest efforts, it's surprising how well transcendental meditation works to heal trauma. You heard about it today.
Yes.
What I think is one of the great things is veterans don't deal directly with their trauma with transcendental meditation. They learn to meditate, and somehow the trauma just loses its grip on them. I can't say this happens to every single person, but I can say there's a lot of research that I went over, some of the most recent at the San Diego VA, to show that transcendental meditation has large effects on most of the veterans with PTSD who learn it. So what we're doing now is working to get the VA, as John Dillinger said, I rob banks because that's where the money is. Well, we go to VA hospitals because that's where the vets are. So we're working in their VA hospitals are hearing about it, and new hospitals are asking us, can you teach TM here? Can you teach TM there? So we raise private money and then give it away to veterans for free. And that's sort of our model. And the VA has been incredibly receptive, and as you'll see, they see the effects on veterans, and it can be shocking. How quickly, days after learning to meditate. You heard one guy today, first time I slept through the night in years. And I've heard that a bunch of times. And so as an intervention for trauma, my hope, my vision is that this, in every VA, any vet with dealing with post-traumatic stress can have the choice for this intervention to help change their lives. And you heard it. You can, don't listen to me. Watch the vets that you saw here today. It's really amazing. It means a lot to me. I just want to tell you, the other day I had a poster that we were bringing somewhere showing the data. My 13-year-old son staring at it, and he's like, so trauma should go down or up? I'm like, low is good. And he's like, depression? I'm like, you want that low? He's like, sleep? You want your sleep to improve? He's like, wow, this really works well on trauma. I'm like, so you don't have to be a PhD to understand it. You don't have to understand why. You don't have to believe anything. It's like push-ups. You just do push-ups, you get stronger. You do TM, and for many people, especially with post-traumatic stress, it just loses its grip on you. And so this is I love this job because we get to do this.
Yeah, I really appreciate that information that you just given me and the world out there about your program. And it really helps me to share this information with a lot of veterans that is out there that's going through their situation. And, I'm really happy even to be here. I might even take the course myself.
You're Melvin, you are more than welcome. We'd love to have you. Let me just say, anyone who wants to learn, we have free course. We have 2 spots left. Josh says we have free courses to the Brooklyn, Manhattan, Bronx VA, Hudson VA, Los Angeles VA. Just email, if you're a veteran, email veterans@davidlynchfoundation.org. And we'll work to get you into a course for free. If you're an Army vet, we double that cost. Still free. Okay. Thanks, Melvin.
No, that's the information that I was looking for to hear as far as how to get into the program, because a lot of other veterans is probably asking me as well. I seen the video. I like what I seen. I heard the testimony. They are real veterans. And I need something like that, too, to reduce some of my stress,
We're here for Melvin, for you, free.
And then also you have veterans that works at BRIC as they are veterans.
Work at BRIC. We have a different
Yes.
process.
They work at BRIC, and they was telling me, I would like to hear what's going on with the VA, where you're going to film them. Would hear it and they see it, and there's a lot of stuff that veterans wants to know, and this information is positive, very positive. So, I want to thank y'all for giving me this opportunity to coming up here.
Thank you for coming to the show.
Yeah.
More vets.
Yes.
We want vets,
And I will get this information out. And like I said, I have a podcast as well, a radio show. So basically, if I can't get a veteran that come down to the brick, because I know everybody's working, they don't have time. So that's why I brought the cameras here. But let's say if a veteran do have time, he wants to share that information through a radio show that we have just for veterans. And you're welcome to do that as well. And we'll put you on air, and you can broadcast that and promote your enterprise, promote the veteran organization to get other veterans, and veterans will really be appreciated,
They do. You heard it from them.
Yeah, I heard it from them. They really, yeah.
Hearing from them.
So there you go. So anyway, thank you again. I appreciate it.
Melvin.
Yes, indeed. And so we're going to get back with you again because I have another person that's here at the VA. So he had a meditation person that he had to be with. But as soon as he come back, we would have another Q&A, or he'll just talk about what he does. And I'm pretty sure that would be very interesting to your veterans that's out there, whether you're Vietnam Air veterans or you are just a veteran, period, that needs VA help. There's an arm reaching out to you. And basically, that's all what we are, and that's what I am, is I have that arm reaching out to help veterans. And we here to lift you up, and the veterans that's here is going to be doing the same thing. So all it is reaching out, and all we need you to do is reach back to us. And that's it.
Thanks, Melvin.
All right. Hi, my name is Pete Cole. I'm the Chief of Learning Resources here at VA New York Harbor Healthcare System. I am the son of an airman, nephew to a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps, cousin to an airborne sergeant. I was not qualified for service because I was diagnosed with epilepsy, and I had 3 herniated discs in my lower back. So that did not stop me from trying. I still tried to. I still met with the Marine Corps and an Army recruiter, and both of them basically told me the same thing. Mr. Cole, pleasure speaking with you. You've got too many problems for the service. But fast forward 20 years. Here I am at the Veterans Administration, and I have a fantastic charge where I am overseeing a space that is intended to connect veterans and VA clinicians to better health information. I'm a medical librarian by trade, and my job is to help clinicians assess and appraise the evidence of, found in the medical literature, so they can make better decisions about, make better clinical decisions. We save clinicians a lot of time because we're diving into the literature for them. And a lot of the time, or we're helping them stay on top of the literature because there's so much that comes out every day. We get to do the same thing for veterans. We have a nice space here at New York Harbor at the Manhattan campus, and it's a patient education resource center. We've got 12 workstations, internet connection, and a lot of the time people just don't know where to go. We stay on top of
community partners. We help develop community partners. I oversee some relationships between VA New York Harbor Healthcare System and outside groups like the David Lynch Foundation, Connected Warriors, and a few others. And our goal is to help veterans connect to the resources that they earn, that they deserve, and hopefully we can generate better information for them for their own decision making. So we do the same thing for clinicians that we do for veterans, and it's the Veterans Administration is the prime example of what a healthcare system can do by remaining open to feedback and provide resources to the facility to make sure that the facility is capturing that feedback. I report to the executive office, which is another important thing to note. The executive office finds this to be highly valuable. We have 250 to 350 veterans coming in to our learning center every week. And that's just computer sessions alone. So I'm pretty sure we have a lot more than that, just stopping in and asking for information on different groups. We also have a lot of different classes here too. So we have yoga, we have Transcendental Meditation, Feldenkrais, we have chair yoga, we have living better with chronic pain, healthy sleep, which you can easily just drop in, take a class. We have computer classes, we have a computer Q&A, we also have our Vets Helping Vets series where we have vets on the outside who come in and provide instruction on different topics. One of our popular computer classes is actually taught by a veteran here who's also an attorney. And one of his big pushes is making sure veterans know how to access information from all different types of devices and all different types of resources, and empower them to kind of take charge of their life and take charge of their health. So I have that honor of overseeing this space and overseeing the work in this space. It's extremely rewarding. The David Lynch Foundation is one of our partners. They are very dedicated to making sure that they work with veterans in a right manner. There's a lot of follow-up. There's a lot of handoffs. There's a lot of things that unfortunately a lot of groups don't understand that's needed in veteran healthcare. There are a lot of well-meaning people out there who do want to help veterans, and that is fantastic, and that's how it should be. But the David Lynch Foundation is very unique in that there is not only strong follow-up, but there's careful coordination. We've been working with the David Lynch Foundation since actually it was around August of 2015 when we first met. Dr. Lillian Sultan and I, who's a clinical psychologist, met with Adam Friedman and Peter Lamoureux, who is one of their lead TM teachers and is also an Army veteran himself. And we talked about bringing Transcendental Meditation to veterans. We talked about our space, my space here, the Learning Resources Center. We talked about how its charge is to bring wellness to veterans. We're not necessarily focused on therapy, although there is a lot of therapeutic value in wellness. It's not specifically therapy. We're just doing this for overall health and well-being. So we met with them, and in November we had 18 veterans signed up for Transcendental Meditation. We had 2 instructors, and in the second cohort is where I learned. So that was December of 2015, and we had, I think it was 16 people in the first cohort and 18 people in the second cohort, and I was part of the second cohort. And I got to learn alongside other veterans, but I felt and saw the difference in 2 days. I'm someone who is very excitable, easily anxious, and I've always personally struggled with a lot of anxiety myself. And I found Transcendental Meditation, for me, kind of allowed me to slowed me down, because I'm always fighting to get ahead. And I learned that through Transcendental Meditation that a lot of my day and a lot of my own personal struggles is in that fight to stay ahead when it's not needed. When I'm myself is when I'm at my best. And Transcendental Meditation gives me that steady peace of mind, and is kind of a lifeline in that sense, where if I do it on a regular basis, I can ultimately fall back on the practice, and I see the results, and I reap the rewards of not having to always feel like I have to fight to stay ahead. I can just be myself and slow down. I was always, as an athlete for, all throughout high school, and played several sports before I hurt my back. So I went to the States in track, and I went to the States in soccer, and I was always playing several sports, and that was my way of kind of staying on top of things, always intense, always moving at a fast pace. And I like doing that, but now as an adult who's married with young children, I'm finding out that it's a lot more important to be calm and collected, so I can give that to my children, so they don't have to fight to feel ahead, to stay ahead. They don't have to feel like they have to fight, which is kind of what I always had struggled with. I've tried a lot of different types of meditation. I was introduced to Qigong when I was young. I was 20 or 21 when I first started different forms of meditation, but I found Transcendental Meditation to have lasting effects on me. So to be able to offer this here at New York Harbor Healthcare System, we do have classes at not just Manhattan, we also have classes in Brooklyn too, and we're trying to expand out further. I know that the David Lynch Foundation has made contact with several other VA medical centers, the Bronx, Montrose, and is actually reaching out to New Jersey and Northport. So they're getting the word out, but we're also getting the word out here in Manhattan and Brooklyn because we see how effective it's been for us, and we've also seen how effective it's been for other veterans. And there's really nothing like being able to offer a modality that currently, isn't the most popular thing. There aren't a lot of healthcare organizations that are, that are offering transcendental meditation. It's great to be part of an organization that not only offers it here, but offers it just for the sake of wellness. That to me is critical, because in my work here, my job is to make sure people are connected and stay connected to a healthy life. We promote wellness, we promote education, and we want to make sure that we're offering classes and we're offering modalities that are powerful and have impact. That's very, very, very rewarding to do that for people who have served our country.